Hello, and welcome to this T-Level Tactics video for Root Core 2 Culture of the T-Level Digital Support Services course. And in this video, we're going to be focusing on digital psychology and mental health. So we'll take a look at ways that digital technologies are designed to appeal to us. We'll explain how this can negatively impact individuals, and we'll also create some mitigations to help prevent harm from these impacts. Before we get started, these videos are not endorsed or sponsored by any education institution or qualification awarding body, and T-Level Tactics videos should not be used as a replacement to any classroom learning you might be receiving, as the discussion and practical activities with your peers and lecturer will help to expand your thinking and comprehension. Instead, these materials are best used as preparation material or revision to reinforce your learning. And these videos cover the same content and required knowledge for Root Core 2 of the T-Level Digital Business Services course. However, they are going to be more contextualized towards IT support roles. Let's get started. So what is digital psychology? Well, apps and websites are all designed to make us want to use them. Their functionality needs to be good, but their appearance in particular can influence the platforms that we use. And there are some key considerations that developers make to draw us in and keep our attention. The first is the way things look, the aesthetics. Attractive color schemes, typography, and imagery are all used to create visually appealing user interfaces that draw us in. Take a look at this example of Instagram on the right, for example. And throughout apps and websites, consistent branding elements help create a sense of familiarity and trust, making users more likely to engage, keeping us coming back time after time and keeping us focused for longer periods of time as well. Apps and websites also like to integrate social sharing methods. Things like commenting, networking capabilities, help to tap into our desire for connection and community, and just look at the number of different social media services and platforms there are available for us. So no matter what we use, we can share with other people. Apps and websites also like to create FOMO. We've mentioned this briefly before. This fear of missing out. Not something you hear in general conversation, but is definitely something that developers tap into. Notifications and updates about friends' activities can create a sense of urgency for us to engage with the platform to make sure that we feel like we're not missing out on what's going on, but also to encourage us to post to get other people engaging with us as well. They'll also incorporate interactive and engaging elements such as sliders, buttons, and touch gestures to make the experience more dynamic and enjoyable, and to give us some feedback when we do something. Just take a look at the colors used on user interface elements, for instance. Red is used for often bad things when we look at stuff, but there's other neutral colors like blue for things that we can interact with. These mechanisms provide immediate feedback, either with animations or sounds, to reinforce our engagement, because sometimes we just like the way things look when we interact with it. There's also gamification appearing in different apps as well. Features like points, badges, leaderboards, challenges help to make the experience more engaging and encourage users to participate. There's an example of Duolingo on the right there, but other apps incorporated as well, like Snapchat, for instance. And it provides users with rewards for certain actions to keep you motivated and carry on using the technology, coming back time after time. And technologies are designed to provide immediate responses and easy access to information, catering to your desire for quick results. As soon as you open the app, you want to be entertained or educated or informed. And apps are often designed to stimulate dopamine in the brain, the happy chemicals and hormones. They aim to provide engaging content immediately to keep you locked in and to engage you further. And there are other smaller things that apps and websites do to engage us. The color red is used particularly when developers want to draw our eyes somewhere, like a notification bubble. In Europe, red is often associated with caution or danger, and something to pay attention to specifically. Whereas in Asia, red is frequently associated with fortune and luck. Either way, it draws our eyes to it no matter where we are. And by leveraging these strategies, digital technologies can effectively capture users' attention and encourage engagement, ultimately leading to increased usage. So if you're a Patreon member, you can head over to patreon.com/tleveltactics and get the task sheet. If you're not a Patreon member, I suggest you head over there because there's task sheets for every video that we produce, and you also get access to other exclusive content as well. So once you've got that task sheet, have a go at the first task, all about engagement. It's a short task, it'll only take you about 20 minutes. So I suggest you pause the video here, have a go, then come back when you're ready to move on to part 2. So what's the impact of all these technologies upon us? The widespread integration of digital technologies into our lives doesn't come without its drawbacks and personal impacts. And people are often impacted by technology in ways that we don't realise. With the ubiquity of technology in our lives, there is an increased chance of being negatively affected by it. Let's take a look at some of these. First is cyberbullying. We have mentioned this before. What is it? Well, cyberbullying is using digital platforms to harass or intimidate others. And it can affect individuals across various age groups, but it is particularly common with adolescents and teenagers. It can include spreading rumours, sharing embarrassing photos, sending threatening messages, or even impersonating someone online. And it will frequently happen on social media, messaging apps, online gaming platforms, and can even happen on forums and comment sections on websites. Cyberbullying can cause emotional distress, can decrease self-esteem. There could be an effect on your academic performance. It can increase the risk of anxiety and depression as well. Someone who is being cyberbullied might change their behaviour. They might not be as engaged with friends and activities. They might be reluctant to use digital devices or be online. And they may have unexplained emotional distress or mood swings. 1 in 3 young people will experience some form of cyberbullying. It is not uncommon. And if you are experiencing cyberbullying, make sure that you talk to someone and make use of the mechanisms available on apps and websites to help deal with it. There's also the rise of digital addiction. The compulsive use of digital technologies such as smartphones, social media, video games, and the internet, often to the detriment of daily life and responsibilities. It can include gaming addiction, the inability to control gaming habits, leading to negative consequences in personal and professional life. You may feel like you have to play a game and you don't feel okay without doing it. It can include social media addiction, and that FOMO, the fear of missing out, leading to increased anxiety and a need to stay connected. Have you ever felt like you have to have your phone on you even if you're not going to use it? It's all part of that. There's also internet addiction as well, which encompasses a broad range of compulsive online behaviours, including excessive browsing, shopping, or engaging in online communities. Digital addiction is linked to various mental health conditions, including anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. The constant need for validation through likes and comments on social media can exacerbate feelings of inadequacy. Some signs of digital addiction could be spending excessive amounts of time on devices at the expense of other activities. You could experience anxiety, irritability, or restlessness when unable to access technology. It could be that you start to fail to fulfill obligations at work, school, or home due to excessive technology use. And some people may end up preferring online interactions over face-to-face communications, sometimes leading to feelings of loneliness. Digital technologies can also cause us a great deal of stress. The constant influx of information from emails, social media, and news can overwhelm people. People will experience difficulty in filtering and processing information. It can lead to those feelings of anxiety and stress. They may feel that they've got too much to read or too much to catch up on. And the expectation to always be available and responsive can create pressure and stress. People may feel they have to respond to something immediately or else they're going to be considered rude. And notifications and alerts can disrupt focus on tasks and lead to a sense of urgency, making it difficult to relax. Remote work and digital communication tools blur the lines between work and personal life. And the inability to disconnect from work-related tasks can lead to burnout and chronic stress. And excessive screen time, especially before bed, can interfere with sleep quality and duration. And poor sleep is also linked to increased stress levels, creating a cycle of fatigue and anxiety. Increased screen time has an established link to anxiety and depression, as well as other mental health conditions. And social media comparison can lead to feelings of inadequacy. Social media comparison being where you always compare yourself to what you see on social media, not really thinking about what else goes on in other people's lives that they don't show online. Many individuals report feeling lonelier despite being constantly connected to others online. The increased use of digital platforms may lead to isolation and loneliness, sleep disturbances, and even escalation of pre-existing mental health conditions that people are experiencing. So if you're a Patreon member, it's time to take a look at Task 2, all about digital health. So back on the task sheet, have a go at that second task. This one's going to take about 30 minutes. And again, I recommend you pause the video here, have a go, then come back when you're ready to move on to part 3. So how can we prevent some of these things or prevent the effects of them? With so much potential for harm, what can we do to prevent the negative impacts of digital technologies? First of all, do you think that any of these have affected you? If so, think of how they've affected you. What do you think would help? And if not, why do you think that is? Is there anything that you believe you've done or people around you have done that has prevented these impacts? We're about to take a look at some potential strategies for helping with the negative impacts of digital technologies. This is not an exhaustive list, but a sample of what may work. Not all of these strategies will work for everyone. This is not professional advice. And if you feel you're affected negatively by digital technology or anything else in this video, you should seek help and guidance. Find someone you trust to talk to, or seek guidance from your doctor or local mental health services. How do we prevent cyberbullying? Well, first of all, we need to raise some awareness of what cyberbullying is and how to recognize it, and encourage people to openly talk about their online experiences. There are also built-in reporting features on platforms to notify administrators. The best advice is always not to engage with cyberbullies. Block and ignore them. Don't feel like it's rude. Remember, you're the one that is being affected by this. And if you witness cyberbullying, stand up against it, report it, and support victims of it. Many countries now have laws addressing cyberbullying, which can include penalties for perpetrators. In terms of addiction, set clear boundaries, screen time limits, and designate tech-free zones or times. There are apps and features available on laptops and smartphones now that can stop you from going onto certain apps at times that you set or for certain periods of time. It's really good to make use of these. You could also say that you're not going to have any technology in your bedroom, for instance, or perhaps for a certain amount of time before you know you want to go to bed. You should also consider mindfulness and self-awareness regarding technology use and its effects on well-being. Try and engage in offline activities and participate in hobbies, sports, and social activities that don't involve screens, even if that's just going out for a walk. You should seek support from mental health professionals if digital addiction significantly impacts your daily life and your ability to complete tasks. In terms of stress, it's recommended to have a digital detox, regular breaks from technology allowing you to recharge and reduce stress. This could just be for an hour or two every day, or perhaps even longer. You could try going for a number of days or perhaps even a week without using any technology. You can also set some boundaries, enabling things like do not disturb settings for certain times of day, or enabling notification timers that prevent notifications from appearing during certain times. It's particularly useful for apps that you may use for work, or apps that bombard you with notifications. You can also enable this on a per-app basis in most phones. You should also take a look and curate your apps and websites that you use. Do you need all of them? Which ones still send you notifications but you no longer use? If that's the case, just uninstall them. If you do ever want to use them again, you can download them again and sign in again. But if not, why let them create that stress? And again, try not having any digital devices or screens in your bedroom. Pick up an alarm clock instead of relying on your smartphone. Leave it outside your bedroom, ready to pick up in the morning. In terms of mental health conditions, make sure you have some healthy digital habits. Again, set screen time limits and take regular breaks away from the screen. Try to get outside wherever possible. And there are websites and apps that can help and offer support with mental health. You may have a local support group that you can join. As previously mentioned, the best help you can receive is to speak to a doctor or a local mental health service. You may also be able to contact a charity, and many offer the ability to do this anonymously. In England, both Mind and Samaritans can help support you. You can find them at mind.org.uk and samaritans.org for more information. So for Patreon members, Task 3 is up next, all about some guidance. So head back to the task sheet and have a go at this third task. I recommend you spend about 30 to 45 minutes on it. So again, pause the video here, have a go at task 3, and then come back when you're ready to move on and we'll finish things up with a bit of a summary and an exam question. So that brings us to the end of the video. And in this video, we've identified ways that digital technologies are designed to appeal to us. We've explained how this can negatively impact individuals. And we've also had a go at creating some mitigations to prevent harm from these impacts. Let's have a look at an exam-style question. Explain 2 ways that social media can have a negative impact on people and 2 ways to help mitigate these effects. There are 4 marks available, 1 for each negative impact and 1 for each mitigation. And that brings us to the end of the video. In the next video, we'll be looking at digital tech and physical health. So make sure you're subscribed at youtube.com/@tleveltactics, or if you're watching on YouTube, just click the subscribe button below the video. And if you're not a Patreon member yet, head over to patreon.com/tleveltactics to take a look at all the task sheets there and get exclusive content for our Patreon members, like our podcast editions, for example. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.